3,000 square feet. But the hard floors, I know the MP, I'm not sure, Nelson, were you going to go with that estimate I gave you, or were you going to choose some?
Yeah, we'll go to your estimate, the 55.
Okay, so 55 for that, and then I just have to, Christina and I just have to add up the restrooms, and we're gonna go with polished concrete for the office, so that's 3,000. So we kind of got it nailed down. We just got to put it together.
Okay, we're going to take some of those and plug them in today in dealing with some of the work loading, and you guys will see that we're going to spend a lot of time doing that today. So
Okay.
we'll use what you guys have. Mark, do you guys have some rough square footages? Are you using your map from what you did for the first lesson as your general idea for your medical building?
No, I went kind of around the same thing, but I just drew a different map. But I do have
Okay,
the square footage.
perfect.
It's a little smaller facility than what it was before.
Okay.
So
And just give you guys a heads up, the supervisor level class, we will start registration on it here likely in the next week. So Therese was finalizing stuff. Her and I have a meeting. She's already got the flyer put together. So we just have a couple more details to go over this afternoon. And we want to be able to publish it by the end of the week so that next week we open registration for supervisor.
Oh, wow. Now, is that only for people that have taken this class?
So that's one of the discussions I'm having. It's one of the last parts of it that we're going to have with ISSA. ISSA would like to see that you have to go progressively from basic to advanced to supervisor, which obviously limits it because there's only 10 of you that have taken the first advanced course.
Right.
So, and that's fine. If we end up with a small first class, that's what it is, because we're going through it, and then as time goes on, that class can grow in size. Even with this one, we had a small pool of, just from last year, which was when you guys took it, the spring of 2020, and then we had the fall and spring. So we had 3 classes to draw from for this class. So we'll see what they allow us to do on that. That's one of the that question, and then her and I are working out the exact time of when that class would be.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it's like, if everyone from this class didn't sign up for that class, if there's a minimum amount of people for per class. So
We like to see at least about 3 people just as a basic minimum, and because we don't depend on the fees to pay for the class, that's paid for through a federal grant. It allows us to do small class sizes and get the program going. And more than anything, you kind of need to get it going. I mean, even if it's only 3 people. If we're less than 3 people, we won't do the class. But I think we've agreed if we can get 3 people in it, then we will.
Okay. So there won't be no fee for this class?
No, there will be, but it's just the actual fee. If you guys went through these classes through ISSA, if you wanted to do it on your own without being members, you're looking around $400 to $500. Without an instructor, it would be a self-taught program.
Oh, I see.
They
what
don't
you're
offer
saying.
an instructor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they do a self-taught online. Here's the material. Here's the test. Is all they do.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. So there's no interaction, no classroom projects, none of that in any of their classes. So
Okay.
all right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning to everybody. Welcome to our Monday morning not Monday morning, Wednesday morning class. Jeez, my week goes by so quick here. Today we're going to be doing something utilizing the information. That's why I was asking you guys about square footages. We're going to be taking this information that we have put together up till now and doing the workloading. We will not do this in breakout rooms. We're going to do it all together, and we're going to share some information because some of this stuff crosses over. So we'll be building a module, and I'll explain it as we kind of go along here, what we're doing. What I'd like from you guys is obviously the feedback, the participation of you got everybody kind of chiming in with, okay, what are the other steps we need? Let's make sure we have all the steps so that we develop a cleaning process for each of our areas. So we'll do that. We'll do the workloading. And then just to give you guys a heads up, I'd like to get everybody started as you guys finish up our class today. Start reading over that final module, lesson number 3 for above floors. Now, a little bit different about this last module. This does not include restroom cleaning. Okay, it focuses in on something a lot different. It's dealing with a lot more with wall cleaning, ceiling cleaning, replacement of bulbs or lamps in a building, and then obviously window cleaning. Our hands-on portion, one of the things we will do is we're going to use some equipment. We'll do window washing, and then we'll also play around. So it's going to be a little bit more of a show and tell of what some of these tools and equipment would look like for wall washing and for ceiling cleaning. So from that standpoint, that lesson is a little bit of technicalities on doing that. The testing is associated with, wall and ceiling cleaning, lamp replacement, and window cleaning. So that will be our last lesson. There won't be a focus on restroom cleaning. So we will, we include restrooms as part of our whole process of cleaning a building. And we will, because a lot of you did not get a chance, we will still clean the restrooms as a hands-on portion of doing room cleaning as our hands-on lesson next week. So that'll be next Saturday. So, okay, well, let's get into a little bit of this stuff regarding the workloading and give you a little bit of background about this as well. The workloading programs, the information we're doing, as I mentioned to you the other day, is based on this book, ISSA Cleaning Times. And they've developed the time standards. We've been talking a lot about that. And this allows management to be able to plan for project work, plan for the work that needs to get done. What's nice is some of these programs, and I think, Mark, you asked the question, well, what about setup time? How much time should we do for that? Transporting of stuff from one area of the building to the other. When you get into software that does this, you could start to build those things into it. Some software programs even allow you to put in a degree of difficulty. And what is that? What do we mean by degree of difficulty? Well, you can imagine in a building, and I'll use an office area. If there is an office area that maybe it's 1,000 square feet and only has a few desks, it's a little bit more wide open. It's not so cluttered. A lot easier to clean than the same office area that has a bunch of cubicles that maybe has 10 desks in there. Now you have more chairs, more people, more traffic. So the degree of difficulty will go up. And these software programs allow you to be able to do that. Now, the one that we're working with is a pretty basic one, developed by the ISSA. This is new. They have not offered this in the past. the workloading stuff that is currently on the market, and there's a lot of software companies who build this for our industry, has taken these time standards and then added some various features like I'm mentioning. So you can, within these software programs, you can even add your own task that says transport time or involves custodial closet cleanup because you're wanting that time dedicated to that every day. You want 15 minutes a day for setting up the equipment or cleaning up the equipment. So you might build that into your task list. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into this and we're going to start building some of the cleaning steps. And we're going to focus particularly on the basic stuff or the floors. And we'll do it first by what is the cleaning task. So it might be, how we're cleaning this particular area. We'll just kind of build it. In all honesty, guys, I'm learning with you on this one. I played around a lot with it yesterday on building. I put in some information on some doctor's offices. I had to figure out how it was set up, and then we'll go in and do it. It's interesting. The company I just had worked for, Integrity Maintenance Solutions, their owner has asked for a training on this very system, how to develop and build these things, because he sees the value in it. Almost every public facility cleaning, so every school district, every university uses these kind of workloading stuff. A lot of janitorial services do, and guaranteed every hospital around uses this in a different, whatever software they purchase. And the last part I will add to this, most of this software was developed years ago, and I go back to when my kids were little, was developed by the chemical companies in the industry, because they would tie the use of this into, hey, we'll give you this software program if you agree to purchase all of our chemicals. So one of the first companies to do that was a company called Hilliard, and they developed a great program for it. So enough talking, let's just get into this stuff. So, all right. Perfect. Okay, so you guys should be seeing my screen here that has the workloading information. Let me move you guys to. Okay, so you'll notice I set up two areas, a school and a doctor's office. So we have that information, and we're going to jump back and forth between both of them. But what we're going to start with is just kind of understanding how this program's set up. So it deals with location. We could create areas, activities, but the very first thing you do is build your steps. What are the different steps of cleaning of a restroom, for example, or of cleaning a classroom? So we're going to build those steps and take some of these areas and really start to develop that. And we could call this whatever we want as far as step names. So we will build our steps, and as we do an activity, for example, in restroom cleaning, what I did was listed, show you guys here, the basic steps. In this case, it was restroom specialist office building after training. And it takes basically, with training in an office building, which is not a hard area to clean, about 1.5 minutes per fixture to clean the office building restrooms. That's an average time. So once we have that built in, when we get into dealing with the areas, such as the restrooms, we can associate that activity of restroom cleaning with it. Okay, so let's start by basically going through some of our steps. And what I want to start with is the hard floor area. In particular, because you guys are going to do a strip and wax, right? Both of you have a hard floor area that we're going to do a strip and wax. Is that correct? Okay. So because we're going to do that, let's go through. We'll put in our steps for stripping and waxing a floor, and we will create an activity that will be called stripping and waxing. So we could add each of our steps. Okay. So what we'll do, okay, and what I would ask you guys is pull out your procedures that you guys used for the hard floor for stripping and waxing. And we're going to pull each of these up. And as you guys go through and tell me your steps, we'll add them into this process, if that makes sense. So first step in doing this, and literally give me every step you have. I'm going to be writing notes as we do this, by the way. And we'll work together on it. So what was your first step, Mark?
Are you looking at the actual cleaning or say like removal of the furniture?
Let's see if it offers us removal of furniture, because this has a lot of different steps that we can. So it may only offer us, yeah, it's not going to offer us removal of furniture, but let's start with the cleaning steps. So that could involve the, sweeping, dust mopping, mopping on the solution, those procedures.
How about prep time? Is there any prep time in that?
We can add it.
You know.
So we can create a step. Okay. So we're going to add a new step. Okay. And we're going to call it stripping prep time. And we'll add it under floor care. And how would you guys describe prep time? What would be involved in that?
Well, I was
Mark,
thinking more on the lines of, when we had the mask off the vents and whatnot, the floor vents and all
Okay.
that. But even furniture, moving furniture would be considered prep time.
Yep. Move furniture.
Getting your equipment and your supplies.
And then I think you guys we had to tape off the transition area entryway.
Put the signs up.
We'll set up caution tape and signs. Then tape off areas. Okay, how about something like that? So how long would you expect to take to do an area like that? Let's just use what we did the other day. We did 400 square feet. How long do you think that would take you guys to do that? And let's kind of pull the room.
How many manpower are we talking?
One person.
Okay, so base it off of one person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even though it's 400 square feet, I think you have to push it out to at least 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might even go a little longer than that because you're
Yeah,
moving
one
stuff
person.
around.
Yeah.
So what if we say,
I would say like an hour and a half, because what's going to happen is that once you get finished with one project, or you're doing like scrubbing and stuff or doing the edges, then you have to stop and get your other supply and continue moving on.
yeah, this is the prep of everything at the beginning. So
So
gathering,
I think
Yeah,
the furniture part probably would take you the longest.
right?
Depending what that is. All right.
Yeah, that was quite a bit in that space of furniture. Gosh, I mean, furniture's 15 to 20. This prep's probably 15 to 20.
So you guys think maybe 30 or 45 minutes?
30, 45, I think is reasonable.
Yeah.
We're going to put 45, and then it's never a bad thing to give yourself more time. Okay. So we're going to create that. And that step is now a step we'll add into our activity. So and what we're going to do is we're going to create a new activity, and because we'll add those steps. And this is going to be okay. Now, the stripping of floors, we're going to associate those steps. Okay. So the first one was prep. Stripping prep time. So now we have that 45 minutes of prep time. What was another step then once we have everything prepped?
Mix your chemicals.
Okay. Oops. Let's go back to that. Okay.
Would that be considered prep time? Part of prep time?
You know what? Let's include it as that because I think we're getting the equipment together, our mop buckets. So we've gotten everything kind of prepped that way. Let's move into the actual cleaning procedures. Okay. So Eduardo, what might be one of the first procedures?
For the prep time or
The actual cleaning. Everything's together. We've got everything prepped.
sweep the floor, dust mop the floor?
Okay. So we want to sweep, right?
Yeah.
And what do you think? Just like a regular sweeping broom, right?
Yes. Or a dust
Well,
mop.
Well,
both
remember,
dust
you
mop and a broom to pick
Yep.
up.
so let's think about this. When you guys are doing the procedures, you did both. You swept, and what did we sweep? We did the edges and we did underneath things, right? Because you can't get the dust mop in underneath that. And then you'll dust mop the open wide areas, if that makes sense. So you've got sweeping, and then let's go ahead and do exactly what you just said. Now, dust mopping, what size dust mop might you use?
What was it? 30. Dust mop.
that area, maybe 24, 24, 30.
All right. So let's you guys say 24-inch. We'll add the 24-inch. So notice how what's going to happen is as you're doing this, if you change that from a 24-inch to, let's just say you went up to a 48-inch, it's going to change the time. It's going to be a little faster. 48-inch, though, may not be effective. So, and keep in mind, okay, now let's back up. If you guys are doing your areas, now we want to think in terms of the areas you guys are doing. We might have stripping of floors in a large area where we would use a 48-inch dust mop, like in the multi-purpose room. So what we can do is, well, after we finish our basic procedures, we can always create a second procedure that is stripping of floors for a multi-purpose and change or modify some of these. Whereas stripping floors in Mark's building, where Mark and Amon and everybody's at, that medical building, a 48-inch would be way too big for a lot of those areas that you guys are doing. So 24 would probably be ideal. All right, so we've swept, we dust mopped. What's next?
We
Why
have to
stripper?
solution.
Okay, I'll go Maria and then Don. Maria.
We put the solution on the floor.
Okay. So we're going to mop on stripper, right? And
Yeah.
what type of mopping is that called?
It has to be cotton.
No, not the type of mop. The type of mopping. Is
Wet
it
mop?
What mop?
It's a wet
Oh,
mop. Yep.
wet mop.
But
Okay.
before we do that, don't we have to degum the floors if there's any degree on it?
Typically, that's associated with your dust mopping. It's part of that procedure. You're doing it at the same time.
All right.
Is that even like getting on the knees doing the doodle bug?
Nope. A lot of times you'll mop on your stripper, and we can add, remember guys, we can change these procedures. We get all the procedures in, we can move them around as the process. So doodle bug is different from removing of gum. Gum is, you'll typically do that when you're dust mopping, you have your putty knife with you. Part of dust mopping is you just are removing gum. Okay. So mop size. Remember, mops are weighted in size by a 32 is a large mop, 24 is a medium, and a 16 is a small. If you were doing floor care, what would you use?
24?
Okay. Any other thoughts? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just asking everybody's opinion. Why would you use 24? Why would you use a medium, Nelson?
Why we use a medium? I will have more control over it
Okay.
on a medium.
Okay.
A small one would take too long.
Right.
A large one, it could get the let's say if you have a tight squeeze, you can't get to it. You could use the medium mop instead of the large mop around the
I think-
total stool.
I think
Okay.
basically if we're doing that 400 square foot, 24 fits in there fine, not too big, not too small. And we're just wet mopping at that. So
Yeah,
no
we're wet
finessing.
mopping, which is basically we're putting it on heavy. Right. So we'll use the 24 ounce, sorry. We'll plug that one in there. Okay. Now, Tony, you mentioned a step. What was that step?
Sorry, playing with my space bar.
No worries.
Using that doodle bug, getting on the knees and getting into those little crevices and corners.
So what do we call that?
Uh,
What are you trying to get clean?
Edging.
yeah.
Exactly. It's edge cleaning. And Don, you were going to add something. I apologize. I didn't get your comment a minute ago.
No, that's okay. Maria said what I was gonna say.
Great minds. I've got to find a way to.
So are you modifying 3 or adding, this is number 4?
This is the next step, edge cleaning. All right, and let's see if we can. All right, so here's what's interesting. There's not a process that I'm finding for edge cleaning, so we may have to create our own step for that. So we'll search that one more time. Let's see. I doubt it'll say, yeah, Doodlebug won't come up.
How about corners? I don't know. I thought there was something on the timetable for corners or something.
Scrub edges. Okay. Well, we're going to create our own step here.
Mhm.
Okay, which is really cool because we can do that. So we'll save what we have. We'll come back to that here in a second. We'll go back to steps, and we're going to add a new step. Okay. We're going to call it edge cleaning. We'll put that under floor care. Okay. Scrub edges with Doodlebug tool, right? All right. Now, what you have to think about is now, if you had to do edges, right? We take a room that is 400 square feet, and we'll use that one. We can just beef it up. For doing around the edges, scrubbing that with the Doodlebug, how long would that take? And keep in mind, this is with the Doodlebug. We can add another one that we have if we have to use a scraper tool to kind of scrape around things. How long do you guys think that that took to do the area you guys were doing?
Around about 2 to 5. I want to say 2 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
If
Any
you're
other?
if you're just taking your time.
Okay. That was for all 400 square feet, Nelson? For both rooms?
For both rooms?
Yeah.
You gotta walk over there. Let's I'm gonna go with 10 minutes.
Okay. Anybody else?
15 to 20.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with 15, 20 myself.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to use the 400 square feet. Okay. Let's take the 15 minutes. If we want to base this off of doing 15 minutes, which I think is about right for 400 square feet. Okay. And that's what we'll do is we'll use that number. And now we'll go back into our activity and modify it. And when we type in edge, you'll notice edge cleaning. So we've created a step there. All right, now we've put solution down. We have time for cleaning the edges. What's the next thing that we're able to put in?
Neutralizer or water.
Okay.
Wet mop or damp mop.
Okay. What do you do before you do that, Stephen? Because you're right on those steps, and I will add those. So we'll add the neutralizing and the damp mopping. But what would we do after we've done the edges? Okay, we've got stripper on, we do edges. What's the next thing to do?
Inspect.
Swing buffer.
You got to use a machine on it.
Oh,
Okay. So let's see if they've got. Now they actually have a step here that is stripped with the 175 RPM machine that requires separate wet pickup. Okay. And let's see what other one, because we're building our own steps here. We created our stripping prep time. So we're going to do scrub. And like any other computer program, you have to put it in the way it's written. So
Isn't this one a little tricky? Because depending on how dirty that area is, you might have to repeat this step.
yep. And so here's where we're at. We've got scrub with 175 RPM 20-inch machine. That would be exactly what we're talking about. Okay. That is going to require separate pickup. And that's about right. About 27 minutes to do 1,000 square feet, just the scrub. Now, what this presumes, and Tony, you're right, it could be tricky because this presumes that you're scrubbing it right and only having to do one time. So a very difficult floor, you could go in and just from a knowledge of it, a pre-inspection where you can see this floor is in really bad shape and it's got large amounts of wax on it. And by the way, a way you could tell that, look at the edges. You can look at edges, and if you could see a large amount of debris that's built in, and just take a putty knife and you can see that it's turning color and there's a lot of dirt and soil built into it, then that's usually a good sign to see that there's a heavy buildup there. Because remember, floor finish builds up more on the edges than it does in the middle. It's worn off through the middle. So if you're looking to determine how much is on there, look at your edges. So again, you could increase that time easily by modifying this. So after we do the scrub, then what do we do before we do the rinse step that Stephen mentioned?
Wet back.
Wet pickup, right?
That is doing school. No. Honey, that is doing school. No.
All right. Okay, so wet pickup, there's a variety of different ways we can do this. This is with a pickup tool, which is the hose and wand, or they make some where it has it built up or built on the front end, and that's what I'm looking for here to see. So you notice this one has the front end, it's a 24-inch pickup tool. So what would you guys typically think you would use? Would you be a hose and wand or with one that has the front pickup squeegee attached to it? What's going to be the better way?
I would use the one with the squeezy front
Okay.
pickup. because I could get and I could also use a hand squeegee to
Pull it out, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Great idea. Now, by the way, the procedures we're building are really good for the small areas, for the offices, classrooms, those areas. These procedures, I think we're going to want to modify and create a different set of procedures for stripping of a multi-purpose room. Because in your multi-purpose room, if you're doing hard floors, you're going to typically be using an auto scrubber, right? So that'll help. Okay, so now, Stephen, you mentioned the steps of what was the next steps?
Damp mop with neutralizer or water.
Yep, so we're going to neutralize it. Now, again, we're going to see if it offers us neutralizing. It doesn't offer that. So when you do the first neutralizing, by the way, you would want to do the first one with a wet mop. Okay. So after you picked up your stripper, do a wet mop when you're using a chemical stripper. And then you would pick that up. Then you would do a damp mop. Okay. So we're going to do wet mop here. Again with a single bucket, and we'll use that same mop head as far as the size, the 24 ounce that you mentioned. And then we're going to do the same wet vac. So we've got this procedure twice on here because we do 2 times a wet vacuuming it up. And then, as Stephen mentioned, you would do the damp mop. Okay, so let's walk through this. There was prep time, there was sweeping, dust mopping, doing the edges, mopping the floor, and we are going to change that. It says Kentucky string type, so I don't know. I must have clicked on the wrong one, so we're going to associate a step here for wet mopping. Okay, and we'll move that up. Okay, there we go. We have wet mopping, edge cleaning, scrub, pick up with the tank, the wet dry. So, and I think we'll need to do, we lost 2 things there, so we'll add them back in here. Interesting. I see what they're doing. they are thinking for us. So they're adding this just a basic cheapy thing to clean the mop at the end of the task. And what it did is it doubled up our wet mopping time on the wet mopping. So wet mop and rinse. Let's see what they're doing.
That's so funny.
So sometimes these programs are written by somebody who, I'm sure what it does is it tries to figure it out for you a little bit.
So it's not letting you break it down in steps as you're trying to. It's combining everything if you're
It's
duplicating
combining a
steps.
couple things, yeah.
Right.
So I am going to change that procedure though. Okay. I'm going to see if I can get one more, because scrub, wet mop, pick up, damp mop. I'm going to try one more time. Yep, it's not. So it's combining the two, which is fine. Okay. So we have basically put together for doing an area, it mentions 176 minutes, okay, which is almost 3 hours of time to do an area floor, to strip it. And this is chemical stripping, guys. This is not doing the scrub and recoat method that we did. This is literally putting on a chemical stripper and doing that. So from that standpoint, that looks pretty reasonable to me for being able to do this. Now, what I want to do is, this is great for small areas, but if I'm going to do a area like a multi-purpose room, we want to do something similar. So we're going to copy this, okay, and we're going to edit the one for a multi-purpose room. Okay, we're going to call this stripping of floors, large area. And now let's go in and modify this a little bit. If we were doing a large area, first of all, the mop says, what mop size would you guys use?
Largest one you got back there.
Right? Okay. So we're going to put on here wet mop. Now, one thing I will tell you guys, if you're ever wet mopping a large area, you obviously do not need to do try and mop out the whole area. You want to mop out an area that you're staying in front of the auto scrubber and keeping it wet for about 10 minutes. If you're going to use an auto scrubber to strip a floor, which is okay to do, you cannot run the chemical stripper through the machine. That will cause damage to the scrubber. So you still have to wet mop it on. But when you're doing this as well, when you're doing a large area, you're also going to be looking at a two-person job. One person is mopping out stripping solution, staying in front of it. The method of scrubbing, we call it double scrubbing, okay, with an auto scrubber, because we'll make a pass over it with just the floor pads down, scrubbing the area, and then we'll do a second pass where we're scrubbing it, vacuuming it, and rinsing it all in one pass. Now, here's what's really cool about it. That eliminates the flood mop step, because you don't need to flood mop an area you're using auto scrubber with. The scrubber is going to be doing that by putting water down to rinse it. Then you would still do possibly a damp mop just to make sure you've got everything nice and clean off the floor. So we would, yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Now, speaking on the damp mop, on the last procedure, I think we did like 3 times. Does that count for dry time?
Yes. Yeah, it does include, because you're mopping of floors The wet vac is going to pick it up on a couple of those, and then the damp mop step, that dry time is kind of built in because you're going to be doing other steps, getting prepped for laying a finish. All this is stripping the floor. It's not laying a floor finish, right? So from that standpoint, we would change also our dust mop. Which dust mop would we use? Same principle Tony said.
Microfiber. What dust mop?
Yeah, what size?
The sides. What's the biggest site they got on there? 48?
Let's find out. I see a 60-inch. Actually, I see a 72-inch.
Wow, that's a lot of.
That's
Uh,
60.
What do you think? 48 or 60?
I say 60 for MP, right? Is that what we're doing?
Yep.
Yeah, for
Hard
sure.
drives.
I think 62.
All right. So we'll eliminate this dust mop here that is a 24-inch. And we will move our dust mop process up. All right, so we swept everything out. Dust mop, edge cleaning is still a part of it. Okay. And then mopping on, and so we'll do a wet mop. Okay. And so there's a couple different ones. This is a wet mop and rinse. So I'm going to eliminate that one. I'm actually going to eliminate the use of that, and we won't be using the swing buffer. Okay. So now we could start to add in a couple of our procedures. So we got the edge cleaning. Now we're going to do that flood mop, right? If it gives us, yep, there we go, 32-inch. We're going to use the biggest mop we have. You know what? I need to save this before it allows me to do some of these things.
Does the software let you, as you're putting in your times, is it accounting two people? Is it accounting for 2 people?
Mark, I don't believe that's the case. Or Tony, I don't think it is. I think
Okay.
So the procedure, and I kind of explain how this works. The procedure is how much manpower is for that person doing that one step. Because only one person can be operating the scrubber. Only one person can be operating the mop. So it's a total amount of manpower hours. And then you would take that and divide that based on the amount of people. So for example, kind of show you what I mean.
We'll just do an aggregate total. So if it's 4 hours for 3,000 square footprint, we would divide it by 2. Each person's going to do 2 hours of that job.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Because only one person could be doing that task.
Uh-huh.
It basically is saying one person has the mop and is doing that task. Okay. We're going to see something here. What I'm noticing is certain tasks add other things with it when you choose it, and that's why I'm trying to figure out which way to do this. Okay, so we now have wet mopping. That's good. Now, this one I'm going to help you guys through with. Instead of using a swing buffer, we are now going to use an auto scrubber. Okay, so we'll put on here. This is where I'm going to reference my book a little bit because I'm going to see how they write it for our use of doing this.
Dave, are we going to use the square pad for the auto scrubber, or we're going to use the?
You tell me. This is your guys's your floor project. So how would you guys do it for a multi-purpose room in a school?
I will use the square pad.
Okay. Let's see if that is an option here. So it simply gives us the fact that we can use that scrubber, but it doesn't say the type of pad with it. Okay, so let's try this.
Is there a difference between using the square or whatnot?
As far as I think one of the things that they look at is that with the scrubber, the speed that it goes, it's the same because it's running with the same transaxle. It's just a different head type. So from that standpoint, I don't think it changes that. So we have scrub. So some of the things I'm learning about this too, and I told you guys I was playing around with it yesterday, working on this, but I also am finding as we go through each of these, I don't like the fact that it makes you try and search for it as hard as we are. All right, there we go. Walk behind self-propelled unit. There we go. Scrub with an automatic scrubber. Now we can start to look at what size. So from that standpoint, what size would you guys think, based on your experience, kind of give you an idea, there's typically 24-inch, 27-inch, 32-inch that you might see in a school. A 20-inch is a pretty small one, so I don't see a lot of those used in schools. But what size would you guys think would typically be used based on your multipurpose room you have?
Maybe a 27?
Okay. Any other thoughts in there? Christina or Nelson? Amon, any thoughts, even though you're not working on a school? All right. Well, we're going to go with the 27-inch. Okay. So we now have a scrub with the 27-inch self-propelled. Okay. What I mean by self-propelled, guys, so that you understand, on automatic scrubbers, the machines that are anything above a 20-inch have a drive motor on it. It's a transaxle that it drives the wheels. You need that when you're using a very large machine because typically you're talking about tanks that are around 25 gallons. And keep in mind how heavy water is. Okay, water weighs what, 8 pounds per gallon? So 25 gallons of water in there, that's a lot of solution, a lot of weight to that. It's a couple 100 pounds. The batteries themselves weigh a lot. So you could be looking at a machine that's weighing around 400 pounds very easily, maybe even more than that. So from that standpoint, having the drive motor that allows us to drive forward with it allows us to be able to work it. Whereas if we're dealing with a very small 17 or 20-inch scrubber, those are so small in size that we don't typically need to have a drive motor to them. It could be driven just by us pushing it along, because now we're talking about a tank size that's maybe around 5 to 10 gallons. So not nearly as heavy to push it along. Okay, so we're going to scrub it, right? And then, and look how quickly this is. Now it's saying 2.2 minutes, but that's theoretical. I want to check something here. We want to choose the practical. Okay.
Oh.
And I don't even understand why they put that difference ones there, but that sounds about right. Close to 5 minutes to do 1,000 square foot just scrubbing. Okay. Now we're going to scrub it twice, right? So let's see if it'll allow us to do.
Hey, David, I didn't see it. When you were setting up the software before you started putting in the steps and procedures, could you put in your area, like 3,000 square feet?
No, we'll do that. We're going to do that in a minute.
Oh,
So we're going to get this area, and then we'll come back to our area template.
Okay,
And we will put in our size of our building.
gotcha.
So we have to create our steps first,
Gotcha.
and then we'll plug that in, and that'll help you guys to determine. Okay. So we've got scrubbing. It's not allowing me to do two of the same one. So I'm just going to use these two that'll give me a rough idea. Okay, so that's scrubbing, and that also includes the pickup of the solution. Now, after you do that, you need to do a damp mop. Okay. Do a rinse. But you guys are going to see how much faster this is with a this method versus what you were looking at with the swing buffer.
But can you do a wrench with the auto scrubber?
Yes. Yep. That's part of the scrub is we're doing it, going over it twice, and that rinse is included.
And what about the pickup too, right?
Yes.
Hi, honey. Hi. Okay.
Do you still then have to go back and do like
Bye. Say bye. Here,
that
hold this.
auto scrubber?
Hey,
did
Amon, can you do me a favor and mute real quick? Okay, Christina, go ahead and ask.
Do you still have to go over the areas where the auto scrubber did not reach to clean up to mop?
Yeah, you're going to still need to mop those areas, and you're still going to need to do edge cleaning. So you would do a rinse with that. Just like we did when we did edge cleaning and when we were using the wet vac on the small area where we use a floor squeegee, you would squeegee that area out. So I would include that because we're now doing a large area. And that's, I'll put another one. So I would squeegee the floor area. Let's see if they offer a we'll do is I'm going to add that as a step. And I'm going to use as a time for doing that very similar to the damp mopping to do the squeegeeing around the room. So I'm going to save this real quick, and we're going to add that as a step. We'll call it floor squeegee. Okay. Good. Because you generally speaking want to pull that out before you do your final rinse, just to make sure you got everything off of there. So, okay, so I'm doing that in between the scrubs. Perfect. Okay, so that's generally speaking it. We have the prep time. We still are using a broom. Okay, dust mopping it, and it chose the wrong one, so we're gonna change that real quick. You guys had chosen that dust mop.
Are we using a dust mop with a chemical treatment?
It's a treated dust mop.
Oh, treated, oh, I see, yeah, you treated dust mop, okay.
Okay, so let's look that over. Do you see how much less time? Cuts almost an hour out of the time by using an auto scrubber, which makes sense when we're doing large areas. Okay, so now let's take, we built these two areas, and what I'm going to ask you guys to do so that I can help you with this process of building this. We're going to do a couple more today. I'm going to have you guys as a group, you determine who's going to submit it to me. Send me over what you've put together for your procedures for cleaning of your carpeted areas, and then also for your hard floor. I'll help you guys by putting all this information into here, and then we'll come back so that when we all see each other on Saturday, I'll be able to show you guys a printout saying this is what yours looks like for your carpeted areas and for your hard floor. Okay. So we take the multi-purpose room, and now what we're going to do is we're going to associate, okay, and we're going to, again, we're going to call it the multi-purpose room. Okay, and this is going to be similar inside, or similar to a gymnasium, right? And we're going to associate activities. And one of the activities we will associate is that. And now when is the frequency? How often do we do this? Okay. We do it once. And we're going to say, you guys, how often were you going to do it? Annually?
Yeah, I believe annually.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now-
for stripping and waxing, yeah.
How much square footage were we going to do?
5,500.
5,500. Okay. And let's see what it tells you for that area. For the school, we are now going to add in the building. Let's see. If I do this right. Okay, we want to change that to because that's telling me 20,000 minutes. So I'm going to play around with this. I'm learning my portion of this to figure out why it's doing that. But when we're all said and done, this will give you guys a template that will tell you how long it takes to clean it and the amount of hours, because 20,000 hours obviously is inaccurate. And I will figure out what it is that's causing that. But you guys seeing how we build this? We have to build the steps. We have to associate.
I think your mic is off, or is it just me? I can't hear you.
Can you? Anybody else hear me?
I can hear you.
Now I can hear you. Yeah.
So what I was saying is, I wanted you guys to see these steps. This is how we do this. Now, I'm going to have to make some modifications and see what I have to do to tweak this. But if you guys can give me your process for what you're going to do, and that's what I'm looking for, start to put together your daily and your periodic. Get me what you're doing for cleaning of your carpeted areas and your hard floor areas. Then what I will do is I'll plug this in and give you that back as some feedback so you guys have that. That's why I asked you guys for that information. What I realized is we'll allow the computer to do our work for us, and then you guys can question it. Does that sound right? Does it have all the procedures? If something's missing, we'll add that into it. And then you will have your time frame for building this. The reason I decided, I did some talking to a couple of people in the last couple of days. Reason I decided to have this where I don't expect you guys to figure out all your times is mainly because the purpose of our course, our lesson, is for you guys to identify the process and what's going to be involved and to see how long it takes. But I don't expect that you guys are going to be experts in workloading. That's not yet. That's a supervisory level. We'll get more into workloading. Okay. This is just to get you familiar with that process and understanding what's involved with doing the workloading calculations. And so from that standpoint, if you'll notice, you guys each had your 5 areas of the building, right? Your restrooms, your carpeted areas or offices. So we'll start gathering that information. I don't need everything by Friday, okay? but I do need it by next Friday. So that's the deadline of when I need all your guys' not times, but procedures, so we can upload it. And we'll be doing that where as I get part done, I can review it with you guys for that class. So next week, as we do Monday and Wednesday's class, that's a couple of the things I'm going to need. Any questions to what I'm asking for? Okay. Okay, so that's the first portion of what I wanted to get covered today. The second portion is now getting you guys transitioned. So I will be checking, just so you guys know, this afternoon to see where you guys are at with your testing. Hopefully you've completed your module 1, which is hard floor. If you haven't, I want to set aside time where I could start working with you guys to get that one done. We've completed module 2, which is the carpet cleaning section. If you haven't started doing that testing, you want to get started with that. And let me open up the Google Classroom real quick. Because I'm going to make available, even though we haven't begun the lesson, I'm going to make available the above floor one so that you guys can begin the process of reviewing that information.
Hey, Dave, would you be doing the bathroom times as well?
Yes. Yep. So here's what I need on bathrooms. On the restrooms, I need 2 things. One, total square footage and the amount of fixtures in the restroom. Here's what counts as a fixture: a toilet, a urinal, or a sink. Any of those 3 things are counted as a fixture. Mirrors, partitions are not counted as fixtures. Okay. It is considered, when we clean a fixture, that you would clean the things next to it. So if you clean a sink, you would clean the mirror. If you clean the urinal, you'd hit the partition next to it. We will not have to include a deep cleaning of the restrooms as part of our procedures. It's just your restrooms. Give me your square footage for your restrooms. I would like to know the floor type because it does help as I build this into it. But then how many fixtures are in your restrooms? Okay.
So deep cleaning, as far as periodic cleaning,
We don't need to do for restrooms. The only 2 periodic cleanings we're focused on is going to be the carpets and then also the hard floors. I am also not going to include periodic cleaning of doing window cleaning. We're going to discuss that on Friday. And mainly because I'm not convinced that the workloading is really good on this. I have seen a wide range of where people are at on window cleaning, and I haven't researched it enough to check their window cleaning times to, see where that comes out at. So from that standpoint, we're going to learn the process, but we're not going to build the workloading into it. I will talk to you guys about a few different technologies that make window cleaning a lot easier. So that'll help you guys for that.
So Dave, on our table that you provided us, because we don't have the login, I think you said you're doing all the inputting for the workloading.
Yes. Yep.
We're looking under general cleaning times. So generally this is like wiping and disinfecting above floor. That's all the times you're generally looking for?
For the daily cleaning stuff,
Daily.
yeah. Just
Okay.
that and the vacuuming. So if you guys tell me your square footages and give me that information, I'll be able to help you guys with that.
Okay.
what we have to remember is the purpose of this class was to get you familiar with the fact that we do work loading. We do have to figure out and learn about time. The reason I gave you the spreadsheet was for you guys to see something on your own. Then we'll put it into this software. In the supervisory level class, you will learn how to do work loading. You will actually do your own project. As supervisors, there will not be a group project. It will all be individual projects. You're going to manage your own buildings. So a lot different on that one. So basic cleaning, tell me your square footages, type of surfaces in it, what it is it the office, is it the classrooms? And then on the restorative or periodic, that would be, what are my floor care procedures, which we just did for the stripping and waxing, and then what are my floor care procedures for my carpet cleaning? Okay, are you going to do an extraction method? Are you going to do a bonnet cleaning method? Maybe because you're a medical office, you're going to do bonnet cleaning quarterly because you want to keep it fresh. That's fine. You guys decide that. Okay. So get me that information so I can help build those in. And then I'll give you guys that information back, and I'll help you as you build your presentations, because that's what we're going to spend that last couple days of class, is building those presentations. Okay.
Question, what date is our presentation?
Our final presentation is our last day, is the 28th.
The 28th, okay.
Yep. Yeah, so we have, just kind of going over our calendar here, right? So right now our schedule is that we have, grab my calendar. We have Saturday the 15th, this Saturday, which is when we're going to do the carpet cleaning. Then on the 17th, which is next Monday and next Wednesday, we will cover the above floor. We'll go over this last lesson 3 about above floor, and that's going to focus in on windows, ceiling cleaning, and wall cleaning. All right. And then lastly, a little bit about replacement of lighting fixtures, bulbs, and those things. We'll touch on some of that. So we'll cover those things. As you notice, it does not get into restroom cleaning on this. Restroom cleaning was covered more in the basics. So we'll do that next week, 17th and 19th. On next week's Saturday lesson, we will do window cleaning. And then you will have a chance to see, because I'll be bringing examples of it, of wall washing equipment. Different tools that can be used for that. We will talk about the procedures. I have a cheapy pressure washer, but I think the problem I have with pressure washing over there is all that building is all windows. It doesn't have walls that we could wash with pressure washing. So we will talk about it. We'll discuss some of the things. I may still bring my pressure washer over. I'm going to check and see if we have the authority to do something over on Tony's building, maybe to wash the exterior walls, rinse those down on maintenance. That might be a process I'll check with Tony on.
What about the stairs pressure wash?
So we're focused on walls.
On walls.
Not on floors. And pressure washing is covered more in the wall washing, and we want to understand the process. So when you guys read this over, I want you to pay attention to certain things in this lesson. So your assignment this week is starting now, and then get it done by Monday, is to read this last module. And you'll notice in the information about wall washing, there is some really good information in relation to the process, okay, of doing that, where, what you thought you knew about wall washing. Maybe you think like hard floor or normal above floor cleaning, that we would start at the top and work our way down. That's not necessarily the case for wall washing. And what I want you to understand is why is that the case? So we will cover that. Graffiti removal. We'll discuss that. I will bring with me some graffiti removal product. And what we may do is put it on. I may spray, because I have spray paint here. I may find a surface that I could spray it on, maybe on some laminated material or something like that, so you guys can play around with graffiti removers. Okay, get familiar with it. This lesson also covers something very interesting, and that is hard water stains on windows. So if you notice on pages 106 and 107, it talks about the use of acids. Now, if you remember, if we go back to our chemical training, when we were talking about how we deal with removal of hard water, which is what, calcium, right, and magnesium, how do we remove that? We use an acid. This explains the types of acids that we would use and how we would use that. So I do have a sample. We're going to get to do a real fun little demonstration on that lesson of a powder type of acidic cleaner that is mentioned in our lesson that works really good for getting hard water stains off. And we'll use a white pad for removing some hard water stains. So we'll be looking this weekend to identify where they're at, so that next weekend we actually go in and remove some of those. Okay. I am going to ask you guys to do me one favor. I have some gloves. They are latex gloves that they've provided. I would ask you that on the weekend, not this weekend, but the following weekend, bring your own gloves that you want to wear, some rubber gloves. Okay. Grab yourselves a pair, whatever you're comfortable with, and bring those with you. Because when we start playing around with graffiti removal product or with doing the hard water, I want you to wear gloves. Okay. So we'll go through those processes, and this lesson is the one that moves the fastest. It's also, if you notice in length of the lesson, it's our shortest lesson. Okay. It's only pages 92 to page 118. So it's a lot shorter than what we covered on the hard floor, which was almost 60 pages. So that's going to be your homework assignment this next week. Okay. Is start going through that lesson. And then on Monday, we'll go through the tools. And on Wednesday, we'll go through the processes. And that will wrap it up. So that is next week's lesson. And then our final week of class, the 24th and 26th, we are going through our procedures. We're going through finalizing that final project. We will, by the 26th, when we finish class, my goal is that we will have it pretty well done so that when we present it on the 28th, these are done and we've actually practiced it through. And if there's any tweaks, we'll do that together. We'll help you guys to get those perfected so that we can have a nice presentation on the 28th. Okay. On the 28th, just some things about that. We will do that over, for those of you who can make it, it'll be held over at Gerber at our facility. Dress nice for it, polo shirt or something like that. I'm going to try and do a picture for those who are in attendance, do a group picture. And then I'm going to add, so I'm going to ask you guys, those who cannot make it, have a family member or somebody take a nice picture of you so we can add that in around the picture. So we'll have a small group picture, and those who cannot make it in attendance, we can add you guys, because I'd like to get a class picture for this. So, okay.
So you want us to put on our Sunday best?
Saturday best. We don't have to do a suit and tie. So, but yeah, let's dress nice for it, and that way we'll have a nice presentation. I'm going to try and arrange for some snacks there if we can do it a nice thing. And because we're going to do it hands-on, I am inviting Tony and Tina over. I'm actually going to see if Ruben can make it. I know he doesn't come in during the daytime, and I doubt he'll be able to, but I'm going to invite him anyway. So, okay, so that's our assignments that you guys have. That's what you guys need to be working on over the next week and a half. What I'm doing now for the remainder part of today's class is anybody who needs assistance with their testing. Okay, I've got the next 30 minutes I set aside to help you guys with that, and I have mine to just again, I don't want to get in the habit of saying this is where the answer's at, but I do want to make sure you guys know where to find it and can reason on that answer. Okay, so if anybody needs help with testing, you've got questions, that's what this time is for. And while we're doing that, let me grab my copy of the test.
Dave, do you have a copy of the module 3 test yet or no?
Yeah, actually, let me share my screen with you because it is posted. So give me a second here. I should be available in the classroom. Make sure. That's what I did a few minutes ago. Is I went into the Google Classroom and made sure that it would be available to you guys. So let me just double check. Change that because it said May 14th. I'm going to change it to today's date. Yeah, I'm in a classroom. Okay, so that should become available in just about 1 minute.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then the carpet cleaning section, if anybody has questions on that one, I'm pulling up my copy because I went through and did it myself, made notes as to some of it. So it's a little bit easier of a section. There was only 33 questions versus the 70, was it 71? 72 that you guys had on the last one. So anybody need help with the carpet cleaning one? Pretty good? Okay. All right, so at this point, if you guys do not need help with that, do you guys want time in your breakout rooms to discuss what you guys are doing on your plans as far as your buildings, or are you guys good on those?
I'd like to get with the breakout room myself.
Okay.
So
Anybody else? Are you guys all cool with that? We could take a few minutes and you guys could be in your breakout rooms, just kind of go over any of these details.
Sure, we can do that.
All right.
you want us to close out from there, Dave, or are you going to close us out?
I'll jump back in with you guys and I'll close you out, and I'll close up at 11. And if you guys are done earlier, I'm not going to get upset at that. I know that get what you guys need done, and then I'll check in on you in about 10 minutes. See where we're at. Okay. All right, I'll see you guys in about 10 minutes.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. So, if you guys want to send me anything, and then I can just email it to Dave, a list of whatever you guys may have, or I can do it myself. I kind of have everything already written down for the most part, so he can plug in our information, but it doesn't matter to me if you guys feel like you want to add more and just send it to me, or you want to send it to him individual. It doesn't matter.
All right, because I was writing down some for the MP room, deep cleaning. I was getting the list together.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to email me later on today, and then during my lunch break, I can put it all together and then send it off to Dave. Or if you could do it by yourself, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it don't make a difference because I'm gonna get ready to get myself ready to go to work this evening. So if I don't do it today, most likely there's no class tomorrow. Most likely I'll be doing it tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, Don, I'll send you what I got on my room area. My footprint, you can omit or you could take away. But I mean, I know you've already worked and you probably looked at the table and you all are working. So I'll just send you what I have and just feel free to use it or let it go. I'm going to focus on some of that extraction method, what it is I'm going to do interimly and or annually in the library.
Okay.
You know, because I know some of the general stuff, you're probably right. You have all the times and stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. I've pretty much got all the square footage written down, and what kind of floors we've got going on. So it's just pretty much, yeah, just general, like, you know, the procedure of how we're gonna do each of our buildings. So, but
All right.
yeah, I don't really have too much else to add. I just wanted to make sure everyone was on the same page and we're all cool with whatever, or if anybody had any questions or whatnot.
Is this going to be on a PowerPoint or just?
You know what, Nelson? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not very good at giving presentations, so I'm like, I don't know. Are we going to do it like on a Post-it board, or I have no idea.
Well, Don, all we got to do is if we shoot you all this info and you put it on a Word doc, then the day of, all you got to do is be the presenter, and then you'll just share your screen desktop. So if you're working off a computer that day, then you'll just share your screen. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm not computer savvy at all. So
Yeah, we just put this like on a Word doc, and it's just I'm going based off your map, and you just say library, multi-purpose, offices, and so we have that as like a underlined little subhead. Underneath that's the procedures for each of those rooms, and you'll just share your screen. That's it, and we'll just do that maybe.
Okay.
Because you can give a breakdown of the library, square feet, MP room, the restroom. That could be the topic right there, and then we could take over. Like I have the MP room, so I could talk about my section. Everybody could talk about their section.
True.
Oh, everyone can talk about their sections. Okay.
True, yeah. I think we could do it that way too, because then that way we're just kind of just hyper focused on our little Word doc for our separate sections. That's fine. It'll just toggle. It'll go from whoever starts, Don or you, Nelson, and then whoever else down the line.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That works. That was like stressing me out. I'm like, I I don't know, yeah, how to do it. Last time, the first class, I did it all on my own. Like I just kind of ran through everything. So,
That's
yeah.
that's what
Okay,
happened.
so that helped. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
happened to me last time. Yeah.
Because I wasn't too sure we're going to do a PowerPoint. Because last on the basic training we did a PowerPoint, and what taking me so long? I want to put a image out there. What kind of auto scrubber I'm using? What kind of edger I'm using? You know, have the image of the picture so they could, so our class, everybody else that's looking, could see. You can use multiple tools. Like that.
Yeah,
So
you
I just
can
think perfect.
still do that, Nelson.
Yeah.
It's just that when we toggle over to you, because so let's just say Dawn started, there'll be the little button to share. She'll click share. It'll go on to her desktop view of her computer that she's on. And then when she's done talking, it'll toggle over to you, and then you'll share your desktop or your computer or whatever you're working on. If you want to do 3 slides or 2 slides, you could do that for yourself and then have your little pictures on your Google slide. Yeah. Okay, we'll do that, Don. We'll just each individually focus on our separate area, and then we'll just present it.
Okay. That sounds great.
Okay.
So you won't have to stress out.
No. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to build this master file.
Yeah.
I am going to be working off my phone that day, and I don't know how that's going to work then.
Just go right off your phone. Just say, hey, I had this area of our facility, and then just speak your procedures. Yeah, you won't even have to screen share.
Okay, yeah, because my husband's getting surgery, so I will be in the car waiting for him. So
Okay. Yeah, you can probably do it off the top of your head too.
Yeah, you probably could. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. Okay, so I'm glad we got that kind of squared away. Okay.
All right.
Hey, Tyler, you pretty squared away with the stuff that you're working on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does Tyler have you have the front office, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yours is real easy. You just got auto scrub yours and mop it.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, because did you decide to do polished concrete for the office, right, Tyler?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that'll, like Nelson said, that'll be pretty easy. You can even add a high speed in there if you want, like an annually high speed to keep it shiny, just to make it sound fancy. I don't have anything else to add, guys. I just, just wanted to make sure we were all good to go.
I'll send you the time still, Don, just so that if he wants this master timesheet, he'll have something to reference.
Okay.
It sounded like time management is a big topic here.
You know what? I don't understand. I don't know. I guess if you're going into business, then that would be a thing. But this is just teaching you how to do certain things. This is not about going into business for yourself. So
yeah,
I don't know why this is a focus.
It kind of can help, I guess, being new, where you're like, my run includes 25 rooms, and I know each room's going to be 15 minutes in and out. It kind of gives you an idea. I have an 8-hour shift, what you can get done, I guess.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Once you start working at a site or since we're doing school, then that's all I know. It's pretty much doing school. Once you get to a site, it's a little bit different. Not every day it's the same. For the most part, it is routinely.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of downtime here and there. It's not, so I don't know, cookie cutter, I guess you want to say.
Yeah, anytime that you micro time, I think it makes people stressed out.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, now you want me to input all these numbers? I'm like, Jesus, I never even thought about it. Like, a minute per,
No.
cleaning the seat.
You're not accounting for half of the things you need for the cart aren't there, yeah, you're not accounting for the freestyle stuff that happens to impact your day. Yeah.
Exactly.
And sometimes we don't really look at what time we look at what time we start, and then that fade away because we just constantly moving.
Yeah.
And it's just like I'm doing a classroom, and I know I don't want to spend 30 minutes whatever in the classroom, but sometimes there's a whole lot of degrees on the floor, and then you just lose track of the time. So you know what? I'm taking my time. I'm not rushing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You
all the time,
you have the intent. Let's put it that way. You have the intent to finish what you start, but sometimes there's a freestyle situation where something stopped you midway on that run, and you spent 4 times as much time on that area.
Yeah, especially if someone going to stop and talk to you for like that happened to me yesterday. I was on the go. I said, all right, I already know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
We try to get finished before my time. I'm always getting finished at the same time, like 6:30 or 7.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to try and get finished early because Monday there's no student on campus, but the ACE program, and those like I got 2 classrooms. They using 3 or 4 classrooms, but everything else I just run through. But if I see a teacher and I ask them how everything going, and then we start talking, I say, oh wow, there go my time gone. I'm trying to get finished so I can work on a different project. And I say, all right, no problem.
Just get a T-shirt that has the ISSA timetable on the back of it and say, hey, I'm on the ISSA time clock.
Yeah.
It don't say nothing about stopping to talk to people, so I can't figure that time in.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to you. I can't.
Oh, we need to integrate that in.
Well, Antonio, if you ever work in a school district, you'll know, do not ignore the teachers. Do not make them mad.
Because they'll go and tell probably the vice principal will tell the director, and they'll be like, hey, who's this guy?
No, they'll just make your life harder by leaving their classrooms dirtier or
messy
having
and filthy
parties all the time.
It could be both, though. Honestly, it could be both.
Yeah. But Christina, remember you were saying something to the effect, we were standing by that teacher's desk, and it's like they're going to leave it however they're going to leave it. That's their desk space. Yeah. But their overall room, I can see what you're saying.
But if you have a good communication with your teachers, everybody on the same page, then it worked real smooth. Huh. Because you could say, when you go in that classroom and certain desks always dirty or debris on the floor, you can talk to the teacher and have that student have the teacher talk to the student and say, you know what, you need to clean your area up before you go home or before you leave this classroom. So I have talked to a couple teachers, and because I'm always cleaning up the classroom, sometimes I lobby broom it instead of vacuum, and I just point things out. And they say, all right, or I'll go in and speak to the class, speak to the students. And I said, help me to help you to keep your class clean. And we're gonna do this on a regular basis. So lately they've been keeping their floor clean because I'm dealing with 4th graders. It's like, where's your home training?
Yeah. Don't just leave those crayons on the ground and step on them.
They get swept up in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one student, he asked me, he said, well, did you see anything on the floor? And then the teacher stopped him and said, what's the rule of the classroom? Clean up after yourself. Don't put nothing on the floor or else you lose it. That was the end of that conversation with the student. So they know some teachers are strict with their classroom because they want to make sure when the other group of students come in, the classroom is clean, not the first group that leave that classroom all dirty. They have responsibility. They have to be accountable.
Yeah. True. Yeah, hopefully that's being built in. Hopefully they're trying to deliver that message as a teacher, as a leader, you know?
And then they want me to speak. They want me to put a video together because I showed one employee a video that I put together at the high school about beautification. So they want me to speak to the students. So I'm bringing some good tools to the elementary school.
Gonna bring some heat to that presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but it's all good.
Yeah, there are good teachers. I worked at a year-round site for 13 years, and so we had to rush to get the deep cleaning done during the summertime because you only have approximately, if you're lucky, 3 weeks to deep clean the whole school. So we would always ask the teachers the last day or the last week of school to push all their stack and push all their desks and chairs to one side of the classroom, usually up by the whiteboard where there's less traffic, so we can clean their carpets.
Yeah.
So, which really helped. That cuts down a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. The teachers trying to get out themselves.
Yeah, they are, and they want their classrooms clean too. So.
Yeah, especially if they share in a classroom with another teacher. So that's more stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. David's supposed to pop back on or what?
He said he was gonna pop in and check and then let us go.
I know the carpet procedures is pretty much the same as library and learning center and classrooms are all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, I picked up under general and then under carpet on that spreadsheet. I just was staring at it this morning. So I'll just put those times together and just shoot it to you.
Okay. What you all got going on today? Just work?
Yes, just work. Try to relax before I go in. I don't know if I have to run some errands. Yeah.
When do you finish that shift, that swing shift? You off at like 11 p.m.?
10:30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2 to 10:30.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
No, I'm still trying to make an adjustment because when you've been working years to go in for 7 to 3:30, and when you get off at 10:30, your body's still trying to wind down. So I don't be winding down till like midnight or 1. You know.
Well, you appear to be an early riser. I'm sure most of y'all are early risers. So you still get up at what, 6 in the morning, 7?
Like today, I got up like at 5:30 or something.
Okay.
I do enjoy getting up early, but I don't get home until 12:30 midnight. So I don't get off until 12, and then it takes me 30 minutes to get home. So
Yeah. When I'm driving to work, driving to this school, I'm thinking, I said, oh wow, some people got an hour and 30 minutes. They gonna be off at 3:30, you know, like that. So my mind is still set in that mode, you know. And I said, oh, it is what it is. It's just gonna be for temporary. I'm gonna be back on the morning. Yeah.
Are you gonna apply for a lead position?
Huh?
Are you gonna apply for a lead?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's nice to get ahead of your day. Be basically knocking off at 2 or 2:30. That's real nice when everyone's going to work or still there. Yeah.
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 Yeah, but I haven't looked at no job posting yet.
I don't know if there was any there was a lead for Harriet Eddie, but I know that's already closed a while ago.
Yes, that was posted twice.
Oh, twice.
Yes.
And then they had a 4 hour for Elk Grove Charter and then a 2 hour for grounds, but that I know of.
Yeah. But you know, I like working at the elementary school. It's a trip.
Yeah, elementary's pretty easy for the most part.
Yeah. No, I already did high school and junior high school, some elementary school. Yeah. I don't miss the games. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not worrying about no OT at the high school. You know. So once you did all of that, it's like you don't have interest in doing it again.
That's not a social media.
Yeah, that's true. I don't miss setting up for games and all of that either, honestly. Well, I don't think David's gonna pop on. Are you all ready to go?
Yeah.
Yes, let's do that.
I should have done.
But everybody have a nice day. Enjoy
Yeah.
the sunlight.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys have a nice day too. See you all Saturday.
All right.
All right. What time Saturday? Is that
Should be 9 a.m.
9? All right. That is cool.
All right, you guys enjoy your day.
All right.
Bye bye.